From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
This is a WUFT News update. I'm Ellie Shreve. Breaking news out of Marion County, the woman who fatally shot a mother of four made her first appearance in court today. Louise Lorenz fatally shot A.J. Owens by firing through her own closed front door. Owens was attempting to confront Louise over a missing iPad during the latest argument in what the sheriff says was a long-running feud. She's charged with manslaughter and other crimes, which the judge spelled out today in a video link with the jail. She answered questions about her finances, and the judge decided to appoint a public defender. Lorenz initially told deputies it was self-defense, but they arrested her after a few days later, determining the stand your ground law should not apply.
We had to make sure that the steps and the loopholes in regards to the use of stand your ground was eliminated.
The victim's family is hoping charges will be upgraded. An orange haze has been hanging around the northeastern U.S. for the past few days. The culprit, out-of-control Canadian wildfires. As a result, several million Americans are experiencing flight delays, health hazards, and more. NBC's Emily Ikeda has the story out of Brooklyn.
Well, for the third day in a row, tens of millions of Americans are waking up to smoky cityscapes like this. You can just make out the view of lower Manhattan through this heavy haze. And this lack of visibility is what's prompting the FAA to warn of potential delays throughout the day in air traffic from major airports, including New York City, down into Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., even potentially Charlotte, as we continue to see the smoke pour in from our northern neighbor from those out-of-control wildfires. And now the White House is taking action. President Biden ordering all available federal firefighting assets to assist in what the administration has called an alarming reminder of the climate crisis. At times this week, it has felt a bit like Mars. We've seen those apocalyptic scenes play out across the country from the Midwest into the Northeast and down into the Mid-Atlantic, and that's where we could see some of the worst air quality today. Believe it or not, this is actually an improvement compared to yesterday, when at one point New York City had the worst air quality in the entire world. Still, officials urging people to take precautions today, including masking up, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing after this report. I'm Emily Ikeda in Brooklyn, New York for NBC News.
Thankfully, the weather here in Florida has been much more pleasant than our neighbors to the north. But will the good weather continue? UF meteorologist Justin Ballard has our forecast.
Isolated storms should taper off north of Gainesville. We'll see dry conditions overnight, but it is going to be on the warm side. I'm meteorologist Justin Ballard. Starting here at the 8 o'clock hour with that hour-by-hour forecast, temperatures will be in the mid-80s. We'll see lows only fall into the low 70s with partly cloudy skies for most of us. Now, I do think we'll have some areas of fog to contend with, especially north and west of Gainesville. You see those lows, though. Not a lot of variation, anywhere from 69 to 72. That's about as high as it gets. A little warmer, though, in Cedar Key. Temperatures in the mid and upper 70s. Of course, that onshore flow helping. For your Friday, again, we may see some areas of fog at the 7 o'clock hour, mainly north and west. So if you really live along and north of the I-10 corridor, that's where we could see that chance really kind of develop. Now, as we get into tomorrow afternoon, watch what happens. I've got you paused here at the noon hour on your Friday. Dry conditions likely initially, but showers and storms very quickly develop. Numerous storms likely as we get into the heart of the kind of most hot part of the day. And this is where we could see some stronger storms, damaging wind gusts and even some large hail. Look at that core right there just to the south of downtown Gainesville. That certainly is possible. Not exactly sure where the placement of the heaviest activity will be, but it does look like here in the Gainesville-Ocala area we could see some of those isolated strong storms through Friday afternoon, lasting through Friday evening. Will dry out and reset the atmosphere just in time for your Saturday. Chances for rain remain prominent through the next 7 days, especially through about Monday, Tuesday. Once we get beyond that, all eyes on the heat that's ahead.
Thanks, Justin. Florida baseball is our big story in local sports as they prepare for Super Regionals. Julianna Reichenbach joins us with the details.
It's not about redemption, it's about Omaha. That's what Florida baseball head coach Kevin O'Sullivan is telling his team. The Gators begin their Super Regionals tomorrow against South Carolina, the only team to sweep them this season. But back then, relief pitcher Brandon Neely had just been suspended. O'Sullivan thinks this messed with the team's mojo.
That did throw us off, a little bit, and I think the guys going into that weekend, quite honestly, didn't know how to react in a positive or negative way, because I was pretty firm with them that week about, warnings and suspensions. Like, this is real stuff, and we can complain all we want, but at the end of the day, we're not the deciding factors in this whole thing. And so I think there was a period of time where they didn't quite know how to express themselves in a positive way without getting slapped on the wrist.
He has reason to believe something was off with the Gators. During the series, which took place from April 20th to 22nd, South Carolina outscored the Gators 25-10, including a 13-3 Mercy Rule victory. The Florida pitching staff also gave up 26 free passes. The good news for the Gators, Neely is back and the Gators are back at home. First pitch is set for 6 p.m. tomorrow. And Gator men's basketball just announced yet another transfer portal addition. Zion Pullen is a guard from UC Riverside, where he was first team All-Big West. He was also the most sought-after guard left in the portal. And that's your quick look at sports. Back to you, Ellie.
Thanks, Julianna. Finally tonight, students at Santa Fe's program of construction management just completed their 13th Home for Habitat for Humanity. Over 2 semesters of work, students prepare for a job in construction while providing housing for someone in need. We watched the first half of the home hit the road this morning on a journey to a permanent lot in High Springs. Thanks for keeping up with WUFT News on Facebook. I'm Ellie Shreve. That's our time for now, but your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.